Hello everyone, John Aldridge here with Aldo Meets, episode 8 already. And they've gone like that so quick, haven't they, Pete?
I have.
Enjoyed every single one of them. Obviously with some fantastic ex-Liverpool players that we've had, and Sammy is certainly in that bracket. Actually, I've known Sammy we're 65 now. We've played against each other at school. And I'm absolutely delighted that he's come and been our guest today. So without further ado, Sammy Lee.
Cheers, Jay. Cheers. Cheers, mate.
Thanks for being with us, Sammy.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you.
And obviously, sorry, Sam, I forgot to mention Peter Schreibenhausen.
Close.
And James Pearce there. Again, I'm apologising for all the misquotes and names I've called Peter, but he is a bit of a twat, by the way. So we're just
Was that allowed? Is that allowed?
That's allowed.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Good.
Nice to know the guidelines.
Anyway, Sam, what are you up to now? I know we have our little days out,
Yeah.
don't we? Every month, me, you, Callie and Tomo.
Yeah, and Bruce.
We put the world to rights in our favourite restaurant.
Yeah.
But what actually are you up to?
Well, I've been doing for a while mentoring with the LMA, the League Managers Association, which gives us still a fantastic involvement in the game, you know, because you're getting involved with young coaches. And with the greatest respect, it's quite topical because they're not all Jurgens and they're not all Peps. And these young British coaches invariably have to start. They want to start on the ladder, and they go into situations which really are not great. You know, I've been with one where he didn't even have a full-size pitch to train on. He used to share it with a cricket club. But that's the type of thing you're working with, James, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like everything else. And as with all these coaches, these head coaches, whether it be young or old, whether it be Jurgen, Pep, or these young coaches, who do they turn to at the end of the night? You know, because at the end of the day, the buck stops at their door. So all I'm there to do is to listen to them, and they all have different grievances, different problems, you know, and all you have to do, as you know, talking about things is sharing, which is better than anything, rather than keep it hemmed up inside. To share any problem that you've got, I think is a fantastic element moving forward.
That sounds brilliant. How much time a week do you spend on that? I didn't even know.
It varies, Peter, and I like to throw myself into it, you know, and I've got to be honest, I do a lot of, it's tailed off a little bit now, I have to be honest, but initially it was great for me because it gets me out the house. It gets me on the training pitch again, albeit not as a coach, but you're involved there. So you can do as much as what you want. But me being me, I like to throw myself into it. At one point, I had a lot of, like about 6 or 7 coaches on the go. And again, I mentioned British coaches, but because I speak Spanish, right? As does John. The invariably used to put me with foreign coaches, which is great. And it's quite strange because working with Rafa Benitez back in the day as well, he used to say to me, because we used to try and converse in Spanish, he said, I was the only person he knows who spoke 2 languages badly. So whether it be English or whether it be Spanish. So for me to go and converse with these coaches, it was quite ironic, really. But again, Peter, it's as much or as little as you want, and I feel I want to be there, and I'm always on the phone for them. Always on the phone.
That's the only funny thing I've ever heard come from Rafa Benitez. Everyone's serious.
It wasn't funny; it was true.
do you miss the day-to-day involvement?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think that was, rhetorical question. You know that. You know me, and I miss it every day, you know, because it's something what we love, John, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I have to say to you, I've said this on many occasions, truthfully, James, I've never worked a day in my life.
Is that how it feels, yeah?
Well, because if you're doing something that you love, listen, that's as precious, we'll talk about the great man in a minute, whereby, you have precious because you want to do the best and be the best you can be. But I have to say to you, I've never worked a day in my life.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I forgot, actually, just come to mind now. When I took over Tranmere Rovers, I thought deeply because I only had 6 games to keep them up, which we did. Then in close season, I'm thinking, I've got to bring my own coach in here. I've got to have someone. And I phoned Sammy. He's the first one to come to that. I think for what he's done in the game. I know he's at Liverpool, but he might just want to come and be, my right-hand man type of thing. And unfortunately, it wasn't the move at the time, was it?
No.
At the time, unfortunately, because I'd love to have Sammy, and things might have been different in life. But went on. To be fair, he went off to great things with Liverpool. But that might, it's funny the way things pan out.
But John, it's amazing because things like that for me are priceless. You know, because people like yourself, we've been friends for a long, long time, you know, and when someone like yourself has an appreciation, so much of an appreciation to even ask you to work with them, for me, it's priceless, you know, and that's the biggest bonus I've ever had, the appreciation from other people, you know, just being interested in sharing your knowledge and what you do.
Your career, obviously, in the kind of modern era has been quite closely aligned with Sam Allardyce. Is it just a case of having to wait and see what he does in terms of he gets another job?
Well, I think that's the outside view, to be honest with you. We've got to be on, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, I've never ever taken that for granted. Sam may want to go in a different in different routes, I get that. And to be honest with you, I've never taken it for granted. But people put me and him together, which has been great for me. But I suppose, really, people do turn around and say, well, if Sam's retired, then so am I. But again, when I said I never take it for granted, his last gig was Leeds United. He got given 4 games, and he asked me to join. We were in our favourite restaurant, Vincenzo's. It was in May. I'll never forget. They had 3 bank holidays last May, and we were in Vincenzo having a lovely meal. Sam phones me. He said, "Get yourself together. We're down tomorrow. Leeds, the lads aren't until Wednesday. Come down tomorrow. We'll prepare whatever." And then it's well documented. I was on jury duty then the next day.
That's right.
And I couldn't get off it.
Did you ask? And they just
I'd put a letter in previous because for a number of reasons I didn't want to do it, to be honest with you, because the profile in the city didn't want to do it. But and I actually turned around and said a month previous that there may be a chance of me getting a situation, not for 1 minute thinking it was going to happen, not that late. And what happened is, and the fact of the matter is, I then put another letter in my solicitor, said, he's been offered, employment. And it's amazing because we know we all have to do it because it's our duty. But apparently the protocol is, it's down to the individual judge.
Right.
And that individual judge would just would not let me off it.
Yeah.
I've heard people say they've had it deferred and it was only going to be 4 games a month end of the season. He wouldn't let me defer it. And I've heard other people tell and say, "Oh yeah, I went and put a letter in." Blah blah. The protocol is it's down to the individual judge. Which, if you think about it, it's not right, really. Then.
Do you reckon he was a Man United fan?
No, I think he was a Leeds fan. Just didn't want me to go to Leeds. Just didn't want me to go to Leeds. So,
what is it about coaching them that gives you such a buzz?
Well, James, again, I'm sure John will agree. Nothing can beat being a player.
Yeah.
Nothing can replicate being a player. Nothing can replace that. So for me, the next best thing I have to say to you is being on the grass with these young players. And for me, it was the second best thing to being a player. And again, I'm sure you know yourself, John, when you're with these youngsters, your mind's on the game all the time. You have to evolve. You have to move with the times. And I think it keeps you young. I feel it keeps me young anyway. And that's what I miss more than anything. The camaraderie. And again, as I say, in each of them days, you get issues, you get problems, you get players who are not happy because everyone wants to play. And when you're having to tell them that they're not playing, suddenly you can turn a bit nasty on the field. But by and large, they're few and far between. But I miss it madly.
But people buzz off you. Sammy's that character when you all want coaches that players, enjoy listening to first and foremost. You listen to the same voice all the time, but they can buzz off you. And you've got to have you've got to be a character as well you've got to laugh. You've got to make it fun.
Enjoyable.
It's serious, but you've got to make it enjoyable.
Yeah.
So Sammy ticks all them boxes.
Yeah, we should have called this podcast Sammy Meets, really, right? So, Sammy, we're now sitting here days after the departure of Jürgen. Said the final goodbyes. Obviously, a big chapter of the club comes to a close. A new one is being opened, has been opened now, announced that Arne has taken over. How do you feel about the send-off? You think it was judged right on the pitch, but also the weeks before? Do you think it was too much? What's your feeling?
Yeah, I was disappointed in the way we were on the field because I've got to be honest, since the Manchester United game, I honestly thought we were going to go out on a bit of a bigger high, if you like, because the guy deserves that. The guy deserves that. And
totally agree with you, Sam.
And for whatever reason, it didn't happen. We can go into the ins and outs of that. But listen, I don't think enough is ever going to be enough for this guy because what he's given us as supporters. Don't forget, I've been against him. I've been on the opposition bench against him, and but what he's brought to our football club, he's brought the respect back into our football club. He's brought the belief back into our football club. And we say it on many, many occasions when I get asked. He's just so authentic, it's untrue. I think, he gets the football club, he gets the aspirations of the football club, but more importantly, he gets the people. And I think he's the man of the people. And also, he's Peter, he's going to be a massive loss to Liverpool Football Club, but he's a massive loss to the Premier League.
Yeah.
I mean, I read somewhere yesterday that even Alex Ferguson invited him for dinner, which I have to say to you, that is one of the supreme accolades. It really is, because you know yourself, we have this healthy rivalry with the good Manchester United back in the day. I don't think they are a good team at the moment. I don't think they're a good club at the moment.
Shite, Tom. The shite.
Yeah.
They're just going to put it
It's
right.
John,
They know they are. We know they are. We've been shite. They've called us shite. But I'm telling the shite at the moment, and you're right. But they've gone from where they are to where.
Well, this is your podcast, so you can swear. I'd rather. But I'd have to say to you, for me, there's always a healthy rivalry. And I have to say to you, I've got nothing but respect for Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I think he showed his class the other day. And also he shows his reverence to Liverpool Football Club, because they know back in the day, we were the ones they were aiming for.
Yeah.
We got them to where they were because they were aiming as high as us. Yeah. You know, but it's quite strange, quite ironic that I thought our demise this season started with the Manchester United games.
Yeah.
The FA Cup game and then the league game.
It was the league game at home. Even so, I don't know if they had a point to prove after the 7-0 drubbing, and they got 2 draws and a win in extra time, as you know. But the one thing what Sir Alex did when he left Man United, it was quite an aging squad, you know, and it was just the time that Sir Alex felt he had to go. What Jurgen's actually left us with a youthful squad.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got most things in place for the new manager to come in and obviously have a look, assess, and then see what we know, what we need. It depends if Salah goes, which from a business point of view, I think he's got to go. That's the way it is. So we will need someone on the right-hand side who's going to score the goals to fit into this squad and hold a midfield player. I only think we need two players, such as what Jurgen's left us, you know, left us to go on and try and take Manchester City on again.
And a lot of amazing talent coming through.
Yeah,
really good young lads.
Your Bobby Clarkson as well, your Dans, you know, all these guys who come through.
And before we move on to that, Sammy, so when you came through the academy, it was when Bill Shankly was manager, and then you worked with Paisley, Fagan, Dalglish, played for them, achieved all kinds. Do you think, I know we're all still a bit emotional after this weekend just gone, but do you think Jurgen will rank amongst them, or is he sort of like Benitez, maybe just sort of one point B just underneath?
No, I've got to be honest with you, and this is no critique of any other manager, by the way. No critique of that. I have to say to you, not Willie, he is. He is ranked amongst there. I have to say to you, I've said this on many occasions, the man who started it all off, one of the reasons why we're all in this fantastic situation is the great Bill Shankly, you know, and he started off, you know, and there's one little difference to what we're talking about now taking over. When Shanks left, he had his boot room in place. He had these people that he brought into the football club, your Paisleys, your Fagans, your Morans, your Ruben Bennett's, your Tom Saunders. Yeah. And that's, although we were all concerned when Shanks left, because Shanks is Shanks, the transition was almost seamless for the simple reason is that Shanks had these guys brought into place. He was that clever. He brought people in who were better at different aspects of the job than what he was to help him be the best he could be. The concern I've got, it's always going to be difficult following Jurgen Klopp, no matter who you are. Yeah. No matter who you are. But his entire backroom staff have gone.
Everybody.
I
mean, there's not a single soul left.
Which is a bit of a concern for me. Yeah. And people,
that's my only concern.
People may turn around and say, well, look, maybe Slot, that's what he wants. Being new broom, sweet playing, coming with his full team. And I get that as well. But that, for me, was the difference, because after someone taking over from the great Shankly, for someone having to take over from the great Jurgen Klopp now, which I repeat, was always going to be a difficult transition.
You know, it's always a gamble when you change managers.
Yeah.
You know, I spoke about Man United, but other teams as well have gone by the by, you know, in the past. It can work, but I tell you what, notoriously, sometimes it can go against you depending on, you know, how good or how bad the manager is that come in, how he wants to disrupt it, if he wants to make it just easier. Everything's in place for him.
Right.
You know, he just got to take it on board, whichever structure he is. First of all, he's got to stop us conceding goals,
Correct.
Getting clean sheets. And
the slow starts in games.
Slow starts. Little things like goal scorers. Since the Man United game, and we had like 6-on-2 or whatever when we should have scored, our finishing the last 2 months has been rank.
Yeah.
Absolutely rank. I can't believe
from all areas, by the way, John.
Yeah. You know, we've got to depend on most of, you know, other people scoring goals. You know, like the forwards and you look at the goals per game ratio from the forwards, it's not good enough.
No.
Even though we have scored a good amount of goals, but it's mad to say it's still not quite good enough.
But I'll go back to what you're saying, John, before. I've been very, very fortunate to do a couple of LFC TVs with this face. I'm very fortunate to be able to do LFC TV. But I have to say to you, for me, everything I say, and I quite often precipitate by saying this may be my negative coach speak, but honestly, working with Sam, people, his big mantra was clean sheets. Because from clean sheets, you can do anything. Now, when Jürgen says it and when Pep says it, it sounds fantastic. When Sam Allardyce says it, it sounds negative. So I've got to be. It does for whatever reason. It's perceptions. But honestly, Peter, James, John, you keep a clean sheet, you can win anything. Even Atalanta, the away game. Don't forget, we've been beaten 3-0 in the first leg at home. One of our only clean sheets, apart from Manchester United, was that, and we win the game 1-0.
Yeah.
Now, if we'd have kept a clean sheet in the first leg, you're through. Yeah. So it sounds logical. Well, for me,
it's simple. Yeah,
clean sheet it should be the mantra of everything. And John's completely right. The new man who comes in, he's got to first and foremost sort out how we stop conceding goals.
Sammy, what advice would you give to the new guy then coming in terms of, you've worked with so many Liverpool managers, you know what it takes in terms of, you're from this city, having that connection with the people. What do you think he needs to do? Forget the kind of on the coaching side, the other side of it in terms of.
Well, good question, James. I've got to be honest with you. First and foremost, he can't be Jürgen. He's got to be himself. Yeah. And I've got to be honest with you. And again, I would love to turn around and say, just, make sure you connect with the people. Now, I don't think you can be, you can't be false with that. You've got to be authentic. The guy we have had in charge, he's totally authentic with that. But all I would say is that just be yourself. Yeah. And wherever that takes you, will take you. Don't try to be somebody else, And again, I wouldn't dare tell anybody how to manage Liverpool Football Club. But you've asked me, so what I'll turn around and say is just be authentic, just be yourself. Because whatever anyone's going to be, you can only be yourself.
But he's got to, obviously, he's got to do his research and look what Shankly, Paisley, he's got to do all that. Yeah. Obviously, to connect with the fans.
Got to know the history. You've
got to know that. And with Jürgen to a certain degree, but you've got to be your own man at the same time and make big decisions. You've got to be able to make big decisions. Yeah. This is Phil Doe Podcast with me, John Aldridge, Peter Shrousman, James Pearce, and Sammy Lee.
Well, one thing you were saying earlier, like in a throwaway comment on the side, was that you were in school times and that you were playing against each other. That's bloody brilliant. I think people
I'll
need
tell
to
you the
know
story, Pete.
more about
and we talk about this quite often, and you don't know, James. I was at New Age Comprehensive. Sammy was St Francis of Xavier, just up the road, not far from us. And I remember we playing this Saturday morning. We knew they always had good teams, SFX. So we had a decent side. So we're playing this game Saturday morning, and I'm looking at this little fella thinking, who the fuck's he?
Little fat fella. You're going to say that, man?
No, I wasn't. I would never say that. The meaning to yourself. So anyway, I'm watching this midfield player going, Jesus Christ, he's good. And I'm not, he was just brilliant. And we ended up getting beat. It was something like 13-5. I scored 4. Sammy scored 4 from midfield. And this lad up front scored like 5. I don't know what his name was. He was a really good player for you. Anyway, we got
Stephen Darby. Stephen Darby, yeah.
So anyway, I'm thinking, he'll play. I swear to God, I said, he's the best player I've seen across Liverpool at that age, at that time. I think he's a must in them days to play for Liverpool. And so I sort of followed Sammy's career when he went like an apprenticeship, and the rest is history. you know.
And Sammy, at what stage? I mean, you've played 295 times for Liverpool. You won all these cups, European Cups, league titles, league cups. It's just, your CV is unbelievable. Obviously, being from Liverpool, and I'm only an adopted Scouser, and I'm that proud of that, but you're an actual Scouser. How proud did it make you? Must have been like living your absolute dream.
Without a shadow of a doubt, you've hit the nail on the head there, Peter, living my dream. You know, I think before we go into that, two things that must surprise people. A is that I scored goals. That's what must be a big surprise. But more importantly,
How many headers?
that me and him went to school. You know? I actually scored one goal, funny enough, in Steaua Bucharest in front of the Kop with a header.
With the header?
But I didn't have to jump.
Yeah.
I mean, the delivery was that good and the movement. And honestly, I scored a header in the Kop without even having to jump.
Nice.
But to go back to your point, Pidgey, without a shadow of a doubt, and it sounds a bit glib, I suppose, but yeah, as a kid growing up in inner city Liverpool, always supporting Liverpool, which may, you know, we'll talk about something else later on, I suppose, John, you know, but to get to play for me the side that I've always supported, to get to play in front of the Kop, you know, it's just, it sounds cliche-ish, and I don't like using cliches because the main one we spoke about in the first, he never uses cliches, and I don't want to use that. But I'd have to say to you, it's everything and more that I thought it was going to be.
And how old were you when you first went to
Anfield? I was 16 when I first went in 1974, and I'll be honest with you, you've talked about the great Bill Shankly before. I went to watch them, the against Newcastle in the FA Cup.
Oh, yeah.
And it was fantastic. That team, I'll give you the team now if you don't mind. It was Clemens, it was Smith, it was Emily Hughes, Phil Thompson, Alec Lindsay, the midfield of Ian Callahan, Peter Cormack, Brian Orr, Steve Ivey, and the front two of Keegan and Toshack. And they were led by the great, that was in the great Bill Shankly. That was in May of 74. June the 7th, 1970, I joined Liverpool Football Club as an apprentice. June the 18th, Bill Shankly resigned. And I honestly believe that Bill Shankly resigned because I joined Liverpool Football Club. So I've lived under that dark cloud all my life.
Oh, Jesus.
All my life, seriously.
Oh, jeez.
Gosh. So how did you get spotted then by LCA? Obviously, you were scoring goals as a midfielder and so on.
No, what was happening, I'll be honest with you, Peter, is that I'll tell you what happens is if you get to a certain level, you play for your city team.
Yeah.
Whether it be a primary level or junior level. Now, a senior level.
Primary Villa. Played against you.
Yeah,
Primary Villa.
I played for primary schools, exactly, yeah. I played for Liverpool primary schools. But when I went to SFX was a grammar school. And then what happened is they had such fantastic facilities, as you said. They had great teams. It was run by Jesuits. Yeah. They wouldn't allow you to play for the city team, which at the time felt like a bit of a sad to me because I was captain of the primary. Your next progression is to go into the junior. Anyway, it didn't happen. But what was happening, as John was saying before, we were quite successful. The school was at every age group, and we got into the Echo Cup final, the Martindale Cup final. And basically what happened is...
They did cup finals in them days.
The massive...
14 to 15 years old.
Play Lane Grove Mountain, you remember the Echo Cup?
Right, yeah. And
then the other final was at Melwood. But what happened, as you know, the scouting network of Liverpool, it wasn't done on the internet. People were out, boots on the ground. They were going out seeing. So even though we weren't allowed to play for the city team, at every one of our Saturday morning games, there'd be a scout there. And don't forget, Liverpool's a village. Football's a village anyway, but Liverpool more so. Yeah. So everybody was aware of it in there. So basically, I wasn't allowed to play for the city team. And in many ways, it kept us away from the two clubs. Which may sound strange, but I was allowed to be with my peers, play with my mates, play on the Ola, play on the ground, play whatever, and not be involved with football club. And the way it was, I always wanted to get an education behind me. And the way I thought, and the way my parents thought, which is great, is the fact that if you were good enough at 12, and if you're good enough at 16, they'll still take you on. A lot of people get promised all kinds now, at the age of 6, 7, 8. And I have to say to you, without getting turned it nasty or bitter or sad, the fallout rate in academy football is 99%.
Yeah.
I thought it was something like 95, but I got corrected. It's 99. So if you think about it, only the 1 out of 100 can make it. So I was cosseted from that, protected from that. I was able to develop, not size wise, but I was able to develop like you would play with my friends. You know what I mean? Which I have to say to you, it benefited me in the long run. It really did.
Yeah.
Bob Paisley handed your debut against Leicester in 1978. What are your memories of that day?
Well, he didn't actually hand me a debut. I was on the source bench, if you remember, James.
Came on
for
Yeah,
David
yeah.
Johnson, who sadly passed away. And then we call him the Doc, don't we? And I'm sure you spoke about him on many, many occasions.
Great.
And one of the reasons why we call him the Doc is because we used to always have our bag with our boots and shin pads in and what have you. John always had a bit of brute and Old Spice in his, you know. And David Johnson had every tablet that Boots could have ever had. You know, that's why we call him the Doc. And sadly he got injured, but gave me my opportunity. And as I say, to come on at Anfield, you know, my parents were in the stand, not for 1 minute thinking I was going to get, because back in them days, John, you never got injured. Although there's only
You
one
couldn't
stuff.
afford to get injured because you lose your place.
Exactly.
You have to just put like a jab in there or a jab in there, cortisone there, and just try and play on, didn't it?
Exactly.
You're
And
shit scared to lose your place.
because if you lost your place, you very rarely could you get back in.
True that.
So I was given the opportunity through the injury of the Doc. And again, I'm sure you mentioned before, if you Google or Wikipedia Sammy Lee and goals just don't go together. Not like Aldridge and goals. They all go together. But for me, I came on after a period of time, like 70 minutes or whatever, against Leicester. Scored the equalising goal, I think it was. We won 3-2.
They were our bogey team at the
Very
time.
much so, very much
Yeah.
so. But for me, and I scored a goal. And Peter, for me, to score a goal on me debut in front of the Cop, going back to where we were saying before dreams come true, without using the cliche, it was something that I've dreamt about all my life.
Yeah.
Never for 1 minute think it was going to come true. And again, as John was saying before, you know, in certain positions, goals, you know, you have to score goals, Sean, didn't you?
Yeah.
You have to score goals. You
To keep your place.
and also your stats and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what you're doing for the team, it's about how many goals have you scored. For midfielders, that wasn't so much the case. But for me to be able to come on in my debut and score in front of the Cop.
That's a dream,
And
innit?
your parents were in the stand.
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah.
How did you celebrate in the
dream.
evening?
Oh, well, to be honest, I think they were proud as punch. But again, you know yourself, we have this issue, both at Liverpool Football Club and is that we were never allowed to appreciate it, never allowed to take it for granted. You know, people talk about this saying that you're as good as your last game. At Liverpool Football Club, just over there, you're only as good as your next game.
You never played your up.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to appreciate it more now. I appreciate it more now than I ever did.
You know what? It's funny you say that because even when I'd scored hat-trick for Liverpool, like running around and say, "Hold on, hello."
That was it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, Stonks, the manager. That's it's finished. It's gone. No, nowadays you score an hat-trick. You're all over the place or whatever. But that's true. But you have to tell the lads and obviously the listeners what Paisley was like.
I loved him.
Yeah.
I loved him. And I have to say to you, for me, he's obviously he wasn't Shankly. I mean, as you said before, there's no one that could be Shankly.
Yeah.
He didn't have the same rhetoric. He didn't have the same charisma, if you like, although he had his own charisma. You know, he didn't have the same magnitude with him, but he was still a fantastic coach. And, you know, one of the games, you remember 81.
Yeah.
Everyone goes on about 81 and when we played against the great Real Madrid, you know, in Paris. But the biggest thing was the
You
semi-final.
played that day, didn't you?
Yeah. But the biggest thing was the semi-final. Could Bayern Munich come here, and they've done a great job on us, 0-0.
Yeah.
You know, and so we go to second leg in the Olympic Stadium in Munich, and they made a massive faux pas because what they turned around and done, they turned around and put out the travel directions to get to Paris for the final.
Did he?
Oh yeah, it was on all the seats.
See them Germans, they're all the same, you know. Are they, mate?
Very
No, but
efficient.
the guys from, the ones from Munich really are arrogant. Us guys from near Dortmund, we are cool.
Very
you know?
efficient.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Vorsprung dog technique. I know.
Some of us.
So what happened was that basically, and the news started to filter down because, as you know, our travelling band, they travel all over the world, you know. So the news filters down. Have you heard about it? And it wasn't mobile phones, we never had any, but it came down to us, you know. Have you heard about these? So anyway, we've had the trainer on the stadium the night before. Nothing being said. We're just about to go out to line up to go onto the pitch. Paisley, in his wisdom, turned around and said, "Chaps," and we've already had the team meeting, already been given the strengths and weaknesses of Bayern, which we already knew because we played in the first leg. Paul Brighton had done a fantastic job on us in the first leg. He really had. He ran the show. So we're just about to, the dressing room to go onto the pitch, and he just said, "Hey, Chap, just before you leave," he said, we're going to make one change." So we're all looking at him, what's your song? One change, what? And he said, right now, he's not a bad player. Didn't do too bad on us. He said, "We're going to make a little tweak today." He said, "We're going to man mark him. So seriously, Peter, James, we look at each other going, what's he talking? And he said, and the person we're going to put on him is Sammy Lee. Now, you said I can swear, didn't you? You said I can swear shit and things like that, yeah. Okay.
Right.
Well, I shat myself. I've got to be honest with you. And I think so did the rest of the team. But it was a master stroke because if you'd told us that the night before, I wouldn't have got an ounce of sleep. My colleagues wouldn't have got an ounce of sleep because it's just something we hadn't done before. And I'd have to say to you, because he gave me that split second warning just before we went out, I didn't even have time to think about it. I went out.
Just do it.
And just did it. And I never gave him a kick, Peter. Right? I never got a kick neither. I never gave him a kick. And people say it was instrumental in getting through to the end. Howie Gale was also a massive part of that because he came on, did fantastic, ran him ragged, he was superb to the point where he came on as a sub.
Ray scored the goal.
Ray Kennedy scored a fantastic goal. And what happened is Howie ran him ragged. We had to substitute the substitutes because they were kicking them all over the place. But what happened is the fact that I never gave Brian, he wasn't the influence on the game, which he had been at Anfield. So once again, when people turn around and say he wasn't this, he wasn't that, he was a master tactician and fantastic man manager because, again, I repeat, if he'd have told us that the night before, it'd have ruined all the dynamics of the squad.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great timing, Darren. It? People don't probably respect that enough. That's clever management. Isn't
Very
it?
much so. Very much so.
So you go through, you beat Madrid, and then what are your memories, if any, of the celebrations the night, and then particularly the parade back in Liverpool, because we love a party.
I love a party. I've got not many memories about the night, and that's not to do with that. It's just basically I was just still, on cloud nine.
Yeah.
But again, when you come back to the halls and as you so rightly say, we party like no other. We party like no other, honestly. And I tell you what, they throng the streets from the moment you get off the train and you're there, you get off the South Liverpool and you go through onto the bus, the double-decker bus. It was just something that always lives in your memory for different reasons. You'd love to be able to pick out faces in the pitch all along Queen's Drive.
Do you know what? I was there and you fucking ignored me. I was waving to you. I know that man. I played against that man, Sammy Lee, and he ignored me.
Peter,
There would have been a reason.
Peter, who said that? Who said that, by the way? So it was terrific. But again, you know what, more than anything, and I'm sure John will agree, them kind of things are more for the people than for us. It really is more for the people to show their admiration. But again, as I say, we love a party. But again, everything is for them. And for them to be able to get out there and enjoy themselves and show what it means to them, that's what it's all about. It's them, not us.
And of course, the glory keeps coming after Paisley hands over the reins to Joe Fagan. That 83-84 was an incredible year, wasn't it? With the league title, the League Cup, and the European Cup again. What do you think Joe Fagan's achievements maybe don't get the wider recognition they deserve?
Without a doubt,
absolutely. Yeah.
But I've got to be honest with the greatest respect. And again, I don't want to see him like us against the world. I don't want to see him like that.
Yeah.
But that happens to us, doesn't it? For whatever reason, people play down our achievements, and none more so than Paisley, none more so than Joe. Other people get royal recognitions. Our guys haven't. We've got a guy up there, Ian Callahan.
Yeah.
And I have to say to you, for me, mate,
we talk about this a lot.
Exactly, an awful lot, and I don't tire of talking about it. The reason why I am tired about it is the fact that nothing's been done about it.
Yeah.
The guy is magnificent. The guy deserves every recognition in the game and also in the sport. And I don't see him getting that many.
He doesn't get enough record. There's a KD Kenny Dalglish stand which we know, and Kenny's done it. We've got like Shankly and Paisley, all great. It's all proper. But this fella does get overlooked an awful lot. He's an absolute gent. We love him to death.
Yeah. What would you like to see done? A statue? I think,
whatever is apt. I'm not clever enough to say, but why not? You've seen other clubs put statues up, but people have done not half of what Ian's done in this. I know we've had a lot of
other
people.
clubs are shit and didn't win anything like Everton. So,
no, that's true.
They're scraping the barrel.
That's true. But I think you're looking at the amount of games. No one will ever surpass that.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
No, and I think what works against him is his disciplinary record. 857 games.
Yeah.
One booking.
The very last game.
What a dirty bastard. What a dirty bastard.
The very last game.
Really?
Yeah. The very last game. We'll have him on one and he'll tell you the story one day. But yeah, I'm with Sammy that. So we should really have a campaign together to get some recognition for our Bezzy mate. And love them to death, don't we?
Yeah, we do. But going back to your point, James, I think you're right. The Paisley and the Fagans of this world and the Morans of this world do not get the recognition they deserve. And as John said, we're constantly comparing. We're knocking our head against a brick wall. But listen, we know what they mean to us. And the people who matter know what they mean to us, which is more important than any global recognition.
The ex-players, like we're quite unique, Liverpool ex-players, that in the fact that we've been together. And I think it was Tommy Smith that brought us all together to do charity work. It's great when you're in a position like we are to do that, and we've gone our different ways to do different charities and such. But we've got clashed over these with the first ex-players committee we had together to bring the players together for Christmas functions, golf days, etc., etc., etc. Now it's the Forever Reds. You know, we've got a great backing with the club now. It's absolutely superb. So we get to over the years, and I'm talking about 20, 30, 40 years, we all go out together. We've got to know each other. Have a match day, we're all together. You know, it's a band, like a band of
family.
Yeah, it's like a family.
I mean, it's going a little bit left field, but I'm interested, you know, the Forever Reds. You know, you're looking at the next generation of ex-players who, you know, I hope you don't mind me saying, but they've been on different sort of salaries as well.
That's right.
And a lot of them, unless they pissed it in the wind,
yes,
which a lot of them do, to be fair, but that's a different story for another podcast. But they go into retirement just never having to worry about, and neither do their kids and their grandkids. But the Forever Reds, and I'm not talking about some of them like dying over time, which is sad. But like, what about the next generation of ex-players? Do you think they will be keen to join as well?
But in fairness, I don't know whether John's better placed to answer this than me. But what I would like to say is that we talk about the next generation. We've had like I said, Jamie Carragher. We've had Steve McManaman. We've had Robbie Fowler coming to our
Steve Gerrard.
Steve Gerrard, you know. And I have to say to you, so maybe they're the next generation. They're aware of it.
I think the local lads more so.
Because
with all due respect,
but
like in years gone by, the lads have settled here and stayed here. You know, Phil Neal, you know, Alan Kennedy, they're all Southport, which is a fantastic place. Liverpool's a beautiful place, waterfront now. The city's grew in stature, but they've all stayed here, and that's why we've all like assembled together and become like the big band of mates. You know,
so I'm hopeful
that
moving forward that will still continue. Because everyone will still need it as well. Because, you know, as you so rightly said, not everyone has been this whatever. We have certain players now, Chris Lawler, sadly, you know what I mean, Ronnie Yates, the people of our, you know, we grew up watching. Yeah, we you need assistance, you know.
Absolutely.
You need assistance. I'll need assistance in about 5 minutes.
I'll get you another beer.
Sorry, we're very proud of what we've achieved, you know, over time with the help of the club now. You know, we've got and the games that they play every year, we get like 10% put in.
Sellouts.
You know, and at the end of the year, if there's too much in the pot that we don't need, we give it to kids' charities or the Alzheimer's Trust. Things that are close to home with us. So we're really, really proud of where we sit at the moment in time.
You really should be.
Sammy, your last season as a player at Liverpool, 85, 86. What are your memories looking back on that? Obviously another fantastic campaign, the double. Kenny's come in, he's making that transition from being one of the lads really to suddenly he's the man in charge. What was that like? And then also the decision then to move on.
It was a very bittersweet year for me.
Was it?
Because like we spoke about this on many occasions. You know, one of the strengths of Liverpool Football Club is that there's no sentiment in it. That maybe contradict what I was saying before about, or may add to what I was saying before.
100%.
You know, there's no sentiment. And when your sell-by date's up, as players, you don't always know it. But the coaches know it, you know. And I have to say to you, I'd had me time. You know, you're still fighting against that. You still want to be involved in it. You know, even when I wasn't selected, I asked Kenny could I still travel with the team just to be involved. Because what else would I be doing on Saturday afternoon? You know, I have to say to you, it's been my life.
You wouldn't get that by many players, by the way.
You know, so I asked.
But you were relatively young, Sam. You know, on football terms, when
I was. I don't even know what the age was, but I was at maybe 27, 28. You're right, you're relatively, but you know yourself, mate. The previous year, I think I played 67 games in one season. Now, you know,
every game that was.
Yeah, I'm going to start it off. I was 6'4", and look what happened to me. So it obviously had an impact on me, and you know, and again, I repeat what I was saying before. These guys know before us when your time's up, and my time's up, and Liverpool, and so it should be. Liverpool are a constantly evolving situation. They always bring people in who are bigger and better and stronger than you, quicker than you, season by season. And you get that because to go on to do what Liverpool have done over the decades, you need to be at the top. And again, I repeat, there's no sentiment. And my time is up. So it's a bit bittersweet for me, but it was lovely to see the club get the double, as you so rightly say. And again, I'm on photos that was there. You know, I didn't get medals for it, but I was there. You know, and I have to say, just for me, being part of that squad was, well, what else would I be doing? But I still knew my time was up, James, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Sam, can I just say you never got a medal? How many games did you play?
I'm not sure, because you spoke about this weekend, and I've applied.
Something come out. We got it. You should look into that, you know.
Because these days, everyone gets.
But I've never
one,
had an FA Cup. I've not got an FA Cup medal, see.
Right.
Never.
You played in the previous game,
But I don't know how many games I played in the FA Cup. I should. You've actually spoken to me about this before.
Yeah, you must
and
have
I've applied because the criteria has changed, because I think you have to have a certain amount of games both in the league and and I don't know is the fact, because at the end of the day,
should find out,
at the end of the day, I've never pursued that to a degree, because when you asked me, because I knew my time was up. I've got to be honest, and I only like to, if I've earned it, I'll
Can I just bring in one question, not on the script, but you mentioned a minute ago about the amount of games you played in that particular season, 60 plus games. Which is an unbelievable amount of games. And I have to say it rivals the amount of games that professionals for Liverpool, who compete in every competition to the latest stage, play these days. But people talk these days about the intensity of it, not just because of Pep's book, and how it affects injuries and so on. At the same time, I mean, I'm sat out there with Steve McMahon on Sunday, and he shows me videos of the kind of crunching tackles that were going in, which are not comparable to these days. I mean, they got away without a booking then.
And the pitches.
And the pitches were crap. And there was, I'm sure the medical department wasn't as refined as it is today. So how do the two, it doesn't make any sense to me in layman's terms.
It's a great
mentality.
It's a great point as well, Peter.
Because you don't want to lose your place. You said that too.
But that's why the game has changed so much. And I have to say to you, that's why sometimes people ask us to compare who would have played in our day with this day. And I find it very, very hard to do, because the game has changed so much. All the peripherals have changed, the state of the pitches, the rules and what have you. And
but the body is still a body.
The body is still a body. And I have to say, what I didn't know at the time is the impact it had on me, because obviously I wasn't the same player the year after, you know. Yeah. And again, that's what I'm saying before. These guys, you know, in the coaching staff, they see that. Yeah. They can recognise that. And whereas we think we can still go on and do whatever we want, we really can't.
So that's interesting. You said the following year, you think that had a bearing on you retired still the following year?
No, I think.
Why did you think that?
Well, I don't think I thought it, because I didn't. It's just it was obviously the powers to be. I just wasn't as sharp. I wasn't the same. And maybe you need a season to get over that. But I was, you know, at the end of the day, as I say, Liverpool's evolving. You can't wait for that year to happen. You have to bring other people in, because Liverpool have always been competing at the top.
So effectively, the sort of more modern or more current phenomenon, let's say, of rotation,
sports science,
has got something to to answer for how you manage the lifespan of a pro these days.
Of course, Peter, and I've got to be honest with you. You mentioned the guy before, Sam Allardyce, who I've been working very closely. He was one of the first to use that, you know. He's one of the first to use the matrix and, you know, and the parameters of sports science. One of the first to use it. You know, and I agree totally. It does have a part. Again, sports science should only be as an aid and a tool to help the manager make his final decision. It shouldn't be analytics, as you say in the NFL, shouldn't be the be all and end all of any decision making. It should be just there to help the coach, the head coach, decide on his ultimate decision.
So your coaching journey at Liverpool starts in 1992. Graham Souness asked you to become reserve team manager. Of course, that period, the early 90s, was a tough one for Liverpool, especially after the dominance in the 70s and the 80s. What was Graham like to work for? Because obviously from the outside looking in, he was obviously, he seemed like a very strict disciplinarian, and I think he himself has talked about maybe he tried to change too much too soon.
That's it in a nutshell.
So, yeah.
You know, Graham had been away. He played in Italy, mate, hadn't he? You know, so he'd been subject to certain different regimes, you know.
Well,
and,
you've seen that at Osasuna. I've seen that at Real Sociedad. They were so far advanced.
In terms of diet and everything.
Nutrition, everything. And sports science has come into it. Yeah. And again, as you so rightly alluded to it, I love Graham. I love Graham in any way, shape or form. He gets a lot of criticism for as a manager, and I get that to a degree. And I think he's coming to terms with the fact that maybe he tried to change too many things too quickly. I think he comes to terms with that. But he only wanted the best for Liverpool Football Club. He only wanted the best, you know. And I have to say to you, for me, when he come in, it was a difficult time because everything, at that time, Liverpool needed change. It needed change.
Yeah.
And it still took an awful lot of time before that change actually got implemented. But again, he's the best player I've ever been involved with. He's the best person I've ever been involved in football. But I get people's criticism of as a man. And again, he's not stupid. He knows the fact that he openly admits now, maybe he tried to change too many things too quickly. Because people are averse to change. People don't like change, particularly a football club, and particularly Liverpool Football Club. But it needed it.
Yeah, that's I think that's relevant to where we are now in many ways because the new manager's coming in, and he only needs a couple of players. You don't want him to come in all of a sudden. There's enough change going on. Go bang, 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 bang. No, that's when things can.
Look at the last change we've just had, John. I've got to be honest because I think this revamp. This new revamp, since the likes of Jordan and Miller, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what getting used to that, aren't we?
Exactly, and I think the revamp is ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Because I've got to be honest, no one would have thought we'd have been fighting for the league.
No,
I don't think so anyway last season, and that's why it's been quite disappointing because we got so close.
I hope Scott,
and then
our hopes are up there. In all honesty, we were sitting here this time last year. We'd have took where we are.
Without a doubt.
Third, and we'd have took a trophy.
And a Carabao Cup, yeah.
Of course you would have done. Absolutely. It's been a good season. And it could have been a lot better. But anyway, it is what it is. But that's the second part. That went very quick, actually, of Aldo Meets. And we'll see you shortly when Peter sorts another round out for us.
No problem. Let me tell you the story of a poor boy. He was sent far away from his home to fight for his king and his country, and also the old folks back home. So they put him in a Highland division, sent him out to a far foreign land.
Hello, this is the final part of the Aldo podcast with my mate Sammy Lee and me two buddies here. Jed Houllier, Sam, he promoted you, didn't he, to the first team coach in 1988. Did you hit it off right away with Gerard?
Yeah.
Tom was there as well.
Tom was there as well, and I've got to be honest again, and I must say this, please, this needs to be known, because you mentioned that Graham gave me my position as a reserve team coach, and it was in place of Phil Thompson.
Of course.
And honestly, we all know Phil Thompson. What this football club means, not only to him, but to his family, was huge. And for me to get that, I have to say to you, it was a big disappointment. Not the fact that I got it, but the fact that he lost it.
Mm.
And then, it tells you the strength of the guys that when I was at the club, and then when Gerard came in, and he brought, with the help of Tom Saunders, because Tom knew it really well that Gerard needed somebody from the city in there. He needed someone to help him, and he asked Tomo. Tomo could have really elbowed me, but he didn't. In fact, prior to that, he'd give me all the help I ever could be as a young coach. And then when he comes in to be assistant to Gerard, he was part of the reason why Gerard chose me to be a first team coach, alongside Patrice Berg, who was also huge and influential. He came with Gerard, and the four of us, and then Joe Corrigan, the five of us had a fantastic chemistry, and it was fantastic, because I think we spoke about Jürgen reintroducing the belief back into our side. I firmly believe that Gerard Houllier brought the respect back into our football club, because we'd had this period where things hadn't been going right on and off the field. And I think when he came in, he brought in stability, he brought in a humility, he brought in a honesty, which I think resonates to this day. And I have nothing but appreciation. And again, I don't think he gets the merit he deserves from fans. I don't, because don't forget, at one point, he won 5 trophies in one calendar year.
Yeah.
What was that like, being part of that, especially the treble season? That's the season what you went on to win the Super Cup, wasn't it? Yeah. But being part of that was special, wasn't it?
It was relentless. It was fantastic. Yeah. It just seemed to be like a roller coaster. And once again, you talk about the guy. Gerard didn't have the same, if you like. I'm trying to put the words right. because he was fantastic. His rhetoric was fantastic. His pre-match talks were phenomenal. He used to prepare him. He used to watch it. I used to walk past him. He'd be preparing him in his office, and I loved to have had a script because he was meticulous. Because he was an ex-school teacher. His talks, his pre-match were meticulous, and again, to be part of that, Jay, was magnificent because, again, as I repeat, he brought respect back into the football club. And for me to be part of that was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah, and talking about, he certainly restored Liverpool on the European stage, didn't he?
Yeah.
With that run to the final in Dortmund, you know, one of the great finals against Alaves.
Alaves, yeah. He did, but you know yourself, Jim, you can't get to Europe without doing it in domestic. You know, so he restored our pride in the domestic, and he brought the fear back in as well. You know, and again, similar to Jürgen, brought the belief back in. And as you said, that Alaves, that game against in Dortmund, the yellow, you know, just what a stadium, by the way. Again, similar to that across the road. Fantastic. Yeah. Great to be part of that.
Well, and of course, around that time, you're also combining Liverpool with England as well. You were part of Sven-Göran Eriksson's staff, weren't you? What was that experience like?
Well, it was amazing because we played in 2 World Cups in 2002, Japan and Korea, and it culminated 2006 in Germany, and we had the Euros in 2004. But to be involved with, and do you know what? It's quite strange. I got a phone call yesterday of a mate of Phil Thompson's, and he was a Danish guy, sorry, Swedish guy, forgive me, sorry, and I got goosebumps because he actually reinforced the fact that Tord Grip is still alive. Now that sounds strange. Tord Grip, who was Sven's right hand man.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful man. And I was a bit reluctant to find out or ask the question, because I hadn't heard from him. He's 86 now. But anyway, he's still alive, still healthy, he's still doing well. And the guy goes to meet him for a coffee, and I said, and he's talking about getting us to meet up together. I thought, wow, fantastic. Because to be honest, yes, Sven, wonderful, wonderful person, fantastic coach. And I have to say to you, for me as a young coach, what was great about the head coach, he allowed myself and McLaren to coach.
Yeah.
He didn't take over everything. He gave us the template. That's what our topic are today, tomorrow, for the week, for the tournament. And he allowed us to coach. So for me as a young coach, it was fantastic. And to be working with the elite, the national elite, again was you know, it's actually becomes, I know we're not we're not really in love with the national team here, but again, after Liverpool, if you get to coach your national team, I have to say to you, it is another little thing on your CV.
Yeah. You had 12 caps for was it 12 for England, was it, Sam?
14.
He's took 2 off me.
Sorry.
I know I didn't play well. I didn't think I was that bad.
And obviously, when you go full time with England, obviously around that time, Rafa had obviously taken over here, hadn't he? So
what happened? I'd been sacked by Liverpool, say again, because I've been sacked by everywhere I've been. You know, so as legal testified to. But I got sacked by the football club. So, and again,
was that just because Rafa wanted to bring in his own people? Was it?
No, it wasn't Rafa. It was I got sacked by Kenny.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
So, but what happens is that, and that happens again, because as we said before, football's ever evolving. The football club ever evolving. Don't forget what I said before. There's no sentiment. So Kenny decided that I wasn't for the football club. So what happens? Actually, Rafa brought me back in. And again, when I left the Football Club, I was given the opportunity by Sir Trevor Brooken, to work at the FA, which is great, fantastic. But I still missed the day-to-day. And when I was given the opportunity by Rafa to come back in, it was...
That was 2008, wasn't it?
Yeah, I jumped at it, yeah.
But you weren't there at the start of the Rafa era, were you?
No.
So what happened then?
Well, he had Paco restaurant, and and then he had... Alec Miller.
Did you come in when Paco left?
Yes, yeah. Alec Miller, yeah. And what happened is that, sorry, Peter, I'd been asked by Rafa, and to be perfectly frank with you, the way I thought about that is that basically, you know, you've been part of Liverpool's success. So really, what happens is you're then part of the failure as well. So when he asked me, I thought, well, I really wasn't the man for the job at the time.
Right.
And Sam Allardyce, obviously we talked about your bond with him, that you've worked alongside him for a long time. When he resigned in 2007, you were actually taking the step up to be the man in charge. Sadly, only for a short space of time. And
Thank you, Peter.
sorry. Let's not go there. But the question really is like, was it always your ambition to actually be the main man at some stage, or were you quite happy, like double act, like Jürgen, Peter, or Pep and Vito now, like to be the Vito and Peter?
Sammy did you do a button?
But that's what he's referred to.
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest. I think
Sometimes.
to be honest with you, I think that was my aim. That was my aim. Just like I'm sure it's Pep's aim.
Yeah.
You know,
To give it a go.
To give it a go. You know, and I have to say it, yeah. And it was quite strange, Peter, because I'd been at Bolton for 2.5 years, and I thought it was the ideal place for me to go. But again, I made the age-old mistake of trying to change too many things too quickly. We mentioned Graham before. And if I'm being honest with you, I think I stopped being Sammy Lee. I think I stopped being Sammy. I've got to be honest with you, John. And I did things which was alien to me. Even I've always been a tracksuit man. I even put a suit on touchline. And I'll never forget, I was at West Ham. This could be a bit of a propaganda, a bit of publicity here, but all I remember is the West Ham fans saying, your suit's from Matalan, your suit's from Matalan. And you know they argue, so I don't mind that, you know. But I think I stopped being authentic, you know. And so I then realised, with the greatest respect, that, do you know what? I think my forte is to be a number 2. And if I think about it, that's not bad, because if I was to apply for the situation now as an assistant, I think every head coach would know that I'm not after their job. I'm only there to make them as good as they can be and as better as they can be. So I'm hoping that if the chance ever comes up again, that's why Sam knew that. Sam was fantastic, and me and him were like husband and wife. Honestly, like I have to say, it's honestly.
Don't want to know who was who.
I know. Well, we won't go there. Maybe another time we'll go there.
That's an X-rated version of this. We'll do that later. Yeah.
But I have to say it, and the good again, like the best people, Sam was very, very secure in his own skin. He was not averse to allowing me to do the coaching, just like Sven, which is fantastic for the young coach.
Sammy, one question that just sort of sprung to mind for like sort of armchair supporters who listen to pundits talking on telly about football. A lot of those pundits have played before, so they know what they're talking about ish, but you take their word as, well, not necessarily gospel, but you sort of, you know, pick things up. You think you understand the game. When you're an assistant manager to a main manager for several years, and you take that step up, granted, this didn't quite work out the way you wanted, but how much different is it actually? I mean, you've been watching what the main man does. Seems to in layman's terms, for someone like me, that it should be quite easy to just be the main man, but it seems it's not.
Well, I thought that as well.
Yeah.
I thought that as well, Peter, and I've got to be, and I think, to be honest with you,
Is it that Matalan suit?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was the suit that didn't fit anyway. I thought it came from Mothercare, to be honest with you. But I also have to say, I think that question maybe ask your friend, the Pep, because I'm sure he'd be better versed now in the modern day to say what the difference is, you know, because, you know, Pep's going straight from here to Salzburg, I believe, you know.
Yeah.
But you do know that Pep actually, I mean, Liverpool supporters will have that on their radar. He actually left Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
Went to Nijmegen.
Yeah.
Came
exactly.
back within
I know
7
that.
months.
And I've got to be honest with you, once again, you have to applaud Jürgen for bringing him back in, because not many people who leave this football club get the chance to come back. And I'm one of them as well, because I was given the chance to come back, even though, as you were saying before, when Rafa asked me, initially I said, well, if I'm part of the success, I'm part of the failure. But thankfully, he invited me back a bit later on. Likewise with Pep, you know, and I have to say to you, I know that he went to coach, but I just think it's fantastic that Jürgen started the faith and the trust for him to come back. And look what's happened now. He's now got the Salzburg job. And we all know football, Red Bull are fantastic.
Yeah.
They have a fantastic brand. Yeah. They really do things in football throughout.
Academy setup.
Everywhere. You know, so I think it's a fantastic little, if you like, little step for Pep.
Springboard for the future.
Well, you know, I didn't want to say step up, because you can't say leaving Liverpool is a step up, but it's a fantastic little situation for him to go into, to relaunch his head coach managerial career, and I hope he does very, very well.
And now he's coming with Vito, who obviously has got a track record of spotting talent and bringing them through. You know, people talk about Jürgen's legacy and him giving them ultimately the chance to play, which is fine. But it feels like Vito was the one who helped serving them on a silver tablet from the under 23 and younger, which is, you know, big role.
But I think, as we spoke about before, John and myself, You know, the top guys, what they do is they're so safe in their own ability that they have no problem in employing people who can do other skills and other stints. You know, and I have to say to you, for me, your Shankley's of this world, your Sven-Goran Edwards of this world, you know, your Carlo Ancelotti's of this world. But Jürgen. And that's why these guys, you know, fantastic. Even Peter, who works alongside him, I have to say, the game doesn't get the credit he deserves because the hours that he must put in.
Yeah.
Video hours
People don't
that
see it, do they?
people don't see it, John, but the players know it.
Yeah.
Because one thing for sure, when they're given that information, you can't just get everything off Google or Sky, whatever.
Yeah.
And what
See it for yourself.
the attention to detail that these guys give them, and it's relentless.
I mean, that is what made me laugh at the time about people criticizing Pep's book, giving all the secrets away and so on. And I thought, you know, if you really think that that book contains everything Liverpool is all about and other managers in the Premier League read it to understand us, you know, then, you know, there's a whole industry. There's absolute experts in their field analyzing the shit out of the opposition in their own team. It's a 200-page book. It's not going to give the secrets away, you know.
No.
They work around the clock to get them ready for every single game.
Yeah.
So,
I think, well, we got Sammy here, and this is for me as well, a little bit like, he's such a professional. I've known him like nearly all my life. And he's Liverpool as much as I am. And I'm not Liverpool nuts. You know, it's in our blood, our DNA. You know, but people and some Liverpool fans cannot see, you know, the professional side of Sammy. When something happens and he's been with Sam Allardyce for years and backed him up, been this great second man, right arm. Sam Allardyce takes the Everton job. Sammy's not going to say no because he's professional. He's in the game. He has to go and do an absolute 100% top job. And some Liverpool fans see that as a slide. And it's not a slide. It's not at all. It's what he does good. It's what he wants. It doesn't matter. He's gone up against Liverpool many times for other clubs. I've played against Liverpool. I've managed against Liverpool for Tranmere. The only time I wanted to beat Liverpool was that. And it's no different, you know. So Sammy goes to Everton, and all of a sudden, you know, things get upturned a little. And I know he got upset, and quite rightly some parts, Sam. But people don't see it. Since he's left Everton, he's you know, that's gone. It's gone by the by. You know, whatever he thinks of Everton's Everton. But what he thinks of Liverpool, he's back. He's back as a Liverpool fan. Liverpool nuts.
But you know yourself, I've got a number of passions.
Yeah.
That's one of them. By the way,
good choice.
I've got a number of my family first.
And then Liverpool.
Family first. Yeah. The sport. I love football. Love football. It's just so it happens that I'm to be brought up as a Liverpool supporter, which is fantastic. But you know, I love music, but I also love the city.
Well, that goes hand in hand, all the things you've said.
I love this city, and I've got to be honest here. And I get people. It's never been a job to me. Never been a job to me, and it's never been about money. Otherwise, I wouldn't dress like this. You know, I've got to be honest, it's never been about money. And the passion is, and when you lose your situation, I got sacked at Liverpool, you know, I got sacked at wherever I've been sacked. But I want to continue my passion. And when I got the chance to join Everton, I have to say to you, I jumped at it. I had a situation, my poor granddaughter got a little bit of berated off one mother in the primary school one morning, calling me, your grandfather's a traitor, which that got to me a little bit. I don't mind people giving me stick. I've had stick all my life. If you look like this, you've got to be prepared to take stick. You know, so I was prepared for that. So there's no issue. But I have to say to you, to get Everton, to Sam and his team, to get Everton from 16th to 8th in the table, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the highest they've been in a long time. I have to say to you, it's one of the proudest achievements of my coaching career because, as I say to you, one of my main passions is the city. And this city, you guys know better than anybody, they need the two teams in the Premiership.
Yeah.
Look at the fantastic stadium being built down the road.
Yeah, it's quality.
You know, and I have to say to you, so it was no, I put up with all the criticism I can, but one thing I will say to you, and I need people to know, it was never been about being a job or money. It's about my passion. Yeah. And one of my main passions too, football and the city, and they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Did you stay away from Anfield a little bit after you'd left Everton?
Very much so, yeah.
How long was it before you
went
back?
I stayed away from Liverpool because when I got sacked by Liverpool, to be honest with you, James, because it's a little bit difficult, you know, when you get, you may not know John, because I don't think you've been sacked. But I've been sacked on a few places. But to get sacked from both as a player and as a coach from the team that you love, It's hard. And I've got to be honest, if this is a honest podcast where we're swearing and whatever, I have to say to you, for me, I was quite bitter. Quite bitter for a while. And I mean, that was
It could
down,
get like that.
Yeah.
Could get like that.
it got me like that.
Absolutely.
And-
When I
Yeah.
left Liverpool, and I've never said this, actually, when I left Liverpool to go to Real Sociedad to wait 63 goals in 104 games, I couldn't do no more. I felt betrayed.
Yeah.
Not by the fans, by the club.
Yeah.
And I can see where Sammy's coming from for the time. That really, really hurt me big time.
And that's why I've been very fortunate, because a good friend of mine, and if I'm okay to give Colin McKeown, who's wow,
Colin's a great
wonderful.
fella.
He talk about loving the city. He's a production. He has this LA
Yeah.
Productions, and he tries to promote acting the
doesn't he?
city as much as he can. He's fantastic, and he has this fantastic table, and he invited me back. And I have to say to you, it was
When would that have been then? What was that?
about 18 months ago at the BGM. I'm not sure, two seasons ago, should we say.
Yeah.
You know, but all I'm saying to you is that for me, and do you know what, it saved me, because, you know, bitterness and anger,
Yeah, it doesn't do you any good.
doesn't
does
do you
it?
any good whatsoever.
Yeah.
It doesn't do you any good whatsoever. It really does not. It eats up your inside, everybody's going on. And it took me a while. And I thank Colin all the time. He saved me. That may sound a little bit grandiose and a bit over the top. If it does,
No,
I don't care.
No.
But I know what was going on. And I have to say to have to stay away from the football club out of bitterness and anger. When I've said before is that the club has no sentiment in it. You've got to move on. And I've come to terms with that now. And to the point where I'm there yesterday, my eyes are full of tears because the outgoing fella.
Yeah.
So for me, again, I repeat, bitter and twisted does you no good whatsoever.
Do you know what, Sam? What you said there and what you said earlier on, it goes hand in hand. You need counselling when you get. I've been in this situation when I left management and things like that, and I think it's quite the time to say to the listeners that if anyone out there, mental illness is really strong, and we've been there in different ways. Anyone got any mental illnesses? Talk to someone.
Share it.
Share it big time.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be too proud. Just whoever it is to get off your chest, because it makes such a difference. It happened to me after Hillsborough.
Very
A
true.
long time after Hillsborough. I was going round the bend. Get it out there, whether it's your wife, your mum, your dad, your kids, anyone. Just get in a corner, get it out of your system, because you feel so much better.
Yeah.
And we've all been in situations where we've been in that. So
Very true.
but you said that, and it's just the right time to say that to the listeners. Promise me.
Well,
I
that
think
was
it's time
maybe
now
the
to.
deepest we've ever gone. And
Yeah,
you're
but
absolutely right.
mental illness is gotten where the way the world's gone and everything's gone. It's really.
And we touched on it before, because Sammy, you said, for example, and I know, John, you're not adverse to a pint or 3 or
I like
7.
no, a few
It doesn't
pints.
make some people's problems better.
No,
sometimes.
it doesn't. No harm. As long
And
as
it
you're
can
in
mess with
control.
your head. Absolutely.
2-3
So-
pints, whenever you go.
So for me, the element of that is it's not that. It's about the people you do it when you're doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, it's about community.
You're counselling yourself,
It's by being in an association, by being with people. Because again, maybe you said it's a bit deep. I hope it's not too deep.
No.
Please forgive me. But all I'll say to you is that when you've been involved with a squad of players, whether it be a player or it be a coach, when you haven't got that, the solitude. It's quite.
Yes.
It's quite. It can be quite damaging,
Yeah.
So when I go, mine is. Oh, I say this, maybe I'm making excuses for myself, but I love the socialise, and I love the element of being amongst people, because we're people. So
When you're in that environment, whether it be work or football, then all of a sudden you sack, or you've left, like I left Tranmere, and all of a sudden it's very lonely.
why did you point at me when you said sacked?
Sorry, Sam. Sorry, please.
So, Sammy,
you can be you're in a lonely place. That's why
very
I
true.
think it's quite timely to say it now. But we're going to give you in a minute
Counsel.
quiz.
Counsel.
A quiz. We've cancelled each other today, by the way. But we're going to give you this. We're going to do a special quiz, don't we?
Okay. Cool,
we got
Only quiz,
yeah.
6 questions. Obviously, because we've won the Champions League 6 times. And Man City, well done for the league, but you've only won it once. Don't forget, 6-1, miles away. And in league championships, you're catching up, but you're still nothing to worry about. But we're going to give 6 questions to
here's
Sammy.
the quiz. Test your knowledge. Number 1. Who scored the winner for Liverpool on the day you made your debut against Tottenham in 1978?
Was it Tommy Smith?
Correct.
Boom.
1 out of 1.
That was very
Who's
quick.
leading?
yeah.
Who's leading the way with this quiz, by the way? Was
You are.
it? Who is it?
You are
Doug.
leading the way.
Lucas
Sorry.
won it.
And by the way,
Lucas.
I don't like quizzes, by the way. I'm surprised I got that so quick.
Number 2, you scored 19 goals for Liverpool.
Did I?
What was the highest number of goals you recorded in a single season?
Oh, that's a tough one. It was 1980-81 season. I'll give you a clue.
Was it 5?
8.
Wow.
Done yourself down then.
Yeah. Why did you sell me?
Who said this about you? With the character and attitude he shows, they'd make him the mayor of Liverpool if he was a few inches taller.
It wasn't the wife. That's for sure. Bob Paisley?
Bob Paisley,
Yeah,
correct.
Well done, mate.
Number 4, going back to what we talked about earlier, but that season when you played all 67 games for Liverpool in 83-84. 3 other Liverpool players did the same in terms of playing in every single game in all competitions. Can you name one of them?
I know one for sure. I thought it was, is Alan Kennedy one of them?
Correct. Can you get the other 2?
You said 3.
For a bonus point?
You'll get extra bonus
3
points.
altogether.
Okay.
So you've got Alan Kennedy and there's 2 others apart from you.
Alan Kennedy and 2 others.
Yes.
One's quite obvious, I think, if you think about it.
80, Souness?
No.
One more chance, mate. Who never gets injured? Oh, well, hardly. On the park.
Bruce
Goalkeeper.
Grobbelaar.
I said very close. I said very close. It was Bruce. I meant the goalkeeper, by the way. Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Can I cheat? I
said very close.
left out
10 years before.
Sorry. Yeah. I've had a pint.
He's doing a Steve Nicol.
I meant to keep it. Yeah.
Bruce Grobbelaar and Alan Hansen was the other one.
Do you know what? I thought it was only 3 of us. I didn't know it was 4.
4 apparently.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
brilliant.
I'm not being
So
funny.
I get that, don't I?
Yeah, you got that. Yeah.
We're giving them that one.
Yeah, goalkeeper.
Number 5.
Fair enough.
Who did you make your final Liverpool appearance against in May 1986?
I haven't got a clue.
No. Screen Sports Super Cup.
Against Norwich City.
Against Norwich.
Yeah?
But you know what? It's amazing because, I'm seriously, I made me full
Is there
debut.
whiskey in there?
Is that the truth?
Yeah, boy, I hope it is. I wrote it.
Well, do you know what? I made me full debut against Norwich.
Oh, okay.
On my 21st
And that was
birthday.
your...
21st birthday.
No extra points for that. Sorry.
remember that one, sir?
You're down 1.
Because the Screen Sports Super Cup, but that was just created to give a few extra games when there was no European football, wasn't there, for English clubs?
Yeah, good. That's
Because
right.
of the band.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
just,
Good shout, that.
it only existed
After
for a few
Iceland.
years.
After Iceland.
Yeah. Right, and then finally, against which club did you score your final Liverpool goal?
Oh, you've got to get this one, Sam. Otherwise,
Isn't
you're not going to
it,
leave.
what do you call it? Multiple choice.
Okay,
Never choose the middle one.
The multiple choice was it against Manchester United, Dynamo Bucharest, or Everton?
Well, they say never choose the middle one.
In this case,
but
I'm choosing you.
I would have to say it's Dynamo Bucharest.
It is Dynamo Bucharest,
Yeah.
semi-final of the European Cup.
And that was the header.
That was the header,
That was the header.
That was the header. So I've got 5, haven't I?
Yeah, 4 or 5. We can call it 5. We can call it 5.
We'll read. Thanks, Sam. It's been
Thank
brilliant.
you.
It's been brilliant.
Thank you.
Sláinte, mate.
Sláinte.
Cheers.
Sláinte,
Cheers.
lads.
Cheers.
Thank you, folks. Thank you.
It's been great having you, mate. And
Pleasure.
Peter Shrevers, man. James Pearce. And me, Aldo. See you next month for the Aldo podcast.